everything is vibration, right? Everything is vibration within the entire universe. And what we see and experience here is a certain range of vibration, which is physical reality. And so we are living and we're having this experience here. But the question is, what comes first, physical reality or consciousness? I remember it was Orykl. The circle that's on the homepage, that circle is exactly like that and flew towards me. It works for all the spiritual practices that we have. And what Orykl is that, it's a platform for spiritual practitioners to really run their businesses on, because obviously we're a marketplace. We have the practitioner on the one side and the client on the other side, but our ultimate customer is actually the practitioner. We want to service the practitioner. We want to help them run their business super easily, so they just have to do the bare minimum. And of course, there's always going to be more stuff to do. We can all market ourselves in a million and one ways, but the idea is that it's easy, it works, they love it, it solves all their problems. Then the clients get better service because they're getting the recording, they're getting a transcript, they're getting the reminder, they're getting the video done properly, everything's. And then, of course, super important is vetting people.
Welcome to the Daily Soul Bytes Show. I am your host, bolaabimbolaauthor, frequency alchemist, intuitive life coach, and energy practitioner. Daily Soul Bytes, for those who do not know, is where we invite guest authors, coaches, and entrepreneurs in the fields of spirituality, psychology, and leadership, sharing their insights for the expansion of collective consciousness. And today I have a very special guest, Huenu Solsana, all the way from South Africa. Welcome to the show, Huenu.
Thank you, Bola. Thank you so much. I'm excited to chat with you. Yeah.
So am I, Huenu. And I will read out your bio before we start. I'm really excited about having you on the show. Huenu Solsana is the founder of Orykl, a global platform connecting clients with trusted spiritual practitioners. After the sudden loss of her brother in 2009, she experienced a deep awakening that led her to create a space where healing meets integrity. With 20 years of entrepreneurial experience, she blends business insight with spiritual vision to empower practitioners and guide seekers. Orykl is redefining how the world accesses spiritual growth. And I'm a member of Orykl, so I'm really pleased to have you here, Huenu. So tell us, how did your spiritual awakening journey begin? And what was it that really helped you to shift that, your sense of spirituality and that sense of purpose?
Well, firstly, thank you, Bola, for inviting me and also for that beautiful introduction, which as I was really intently listening to it, is very accurate. So I have to say that, I was hearing it's like, yes, this is me. And my spiritual awakening, you can call it, started officially in 2009. Because that's when my brother passed away, and we were very close, very, very close. He was the glue of the family, amazing human being. And he died in an airplane accident that he was flying. So, very shocking, like, from one day to the next, like, what? Just like so unexpected, right? So really, for the first year, I just couldn't even believe this had happened. But I really got interested in figuring out where he was. I never wanted to actually talk to him or speak with him. I just wanted to know if he was okay, what happens when you die. And at some point I started reading books on life after death and, people that had near-death experiences. And then I was pretty fascinated. First of all, I'm like, okay, I was relating everything to my brother, and definitely helped me a lot to understand where he was, and in fact, to know that he was more than okay, right?
Are you looking for AAA grade jewelry or gemstones? Utter Spirit are those we will recommend. They actually do really wonderful jewelry. They have gifted me really nice lapis lazuli, which is really good for connecting with universal wisdom. And also this shungite beads, which come from Russia, and they're really rare because a lot of the times you get shungite beads which affect your skin, and these beads have been really nice. My son also loves them, and Utter Spirit, they give back to nature as well. So that is really nice that they are contributing to the environment. And they also send this intention cards. They're quite nice. This shungite card says, I cleanse myself from harmful energies. And the lapis lazuli card says, I am connected to the infinite wisdom of the universe. So there's information that goes with it, as well as them, producing really good quality jewelry. So I will recommend to connect with Utter Spirit, and the code will be going with this video. So check them out.
Very, very fun. And also for my own mortality, when one day when I'm going to die, what's going to happen? And so it made me feel really good about the whole thing. And I also, I always say this, if I could have my brother come back, I'd bring it all back. But I have to say, thanks to that, it really opened up a massive spiritual door for me, because I became really interested in the subject in general. It became really my purpose when I was thinking about what business to do next, because I had done a couple of businesses. I'm an entrepreneur. I'd done like 3 of my own businesses that I'd done well and that I had sold, 1, 2, and 3. And I mean, each one done better than the next. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do next? What really do I want to do? What interests me? What am I going to have the biggest impact at? What would make the most use of my skills? What is the highest timeline that I can live, basically, if I can put it that way. And I love and I'm good at business. And I love and I understand spirituality. It's helped me so much. That's a personal part of me, right? And so I'm like, well, I'm going to marry these 2 things, and I'm going to help the spiritual industry, because the problem with the spiritual industry is that spiritual people, spiritual healers, and they're heart people. That's how they're so good at it. They operate from a heart space. Business is a lot of head, a lot of, things need to be done. It's very analytical. It's numbers. It's do this and you get that. It's, you do A and you get B. And so you have to learn that, and you have to stick with it. There's some rules. When a person that is in the spiritual industry gets into this line of work, they know that they have to follow something that feels good to them. And so they don't do things that feel bad for them, like marketing, or like even good business practices, like admin stuff and tech stuff. And so there we go. I'm hoping to help them, because I find it so valuable what they do. Let me help you. And this is where we're at. And this is why I feel it's so cool that I'm doing this. It's kind of bringing all of me into like one pot. And that's why this business is so personal to me. And my partner and I talk about it all the time. Sometimes I talk about it too much. But it's like, yeah, but it's what I do. You know what I mean? It's this podcast is not work for me, but I'm working. It's 7 p.m. So, you work all day. No, I don't work all day. I just talk about stuff that interests me and have fun.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well, it's really wonderful to talk about this on Christmas Eve. This is the time when everyone is really looking at what's their passion, what do they love to do. And I am really excited that you have followed those stepping stones. You having such a successful business career and background, and then having your brother pass as well. And you kind of found a way to make sense of those stepping stones. And, this is what Daily Soul Bytes is all about as well. It is a stepping stone. It's stepping stones have brought me here, and stepping stones will lead me the next step. And it's really nice for us to share this at, during this holiday period for those who may be going through a pause, going through different things and wondering what is the next year going to bring. So thank you for sharing that, Huenu. It's, it's always when we listen to parts of us, because we are all one. And when we listen to a part of us that is talking about some of the things they have gone through, it reminds us of who we truly are. And I did want to actually talk a little bit about Orykl, because it sounds like this is something that came out of some kind of, how do they say, something that comes out of the ashes. And how did the name, because Orykl is a very interesting name, how did that name come to you, and how has it progressed? Because I know it's a very wonderful worldwide platform, but tell us a bit about Orykl.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for the question. So here's what happened. As I said previously, I had 3 companies. When I was selling my last one, I was pregnant with my second child, and I was about to sell this company because I was doing a lot of evening work, and it just too much. I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to sell it. And then what am I going to do? I was like, okay, I don't know, but I would like to help the world. That's what I said. I'd like to help the whole world. Okay. And then I said, I'd like to help all the animals in the world. I just wanted to help all the animals in the world. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know how that's going to happen. And then when I thought about it logically, I'm like, I have no skill, there's nothing that comes to mind that could possibly do that. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, just nothing came to mind, honestly. But I really put out that intention. And then, I don't know, maybe a few weeks later, I was just thinking about this, because I was selling this business, and I was in meditation one night, just sitting there like this, literally, I think I was sitting like this. And this idea came to me, a platform, it was for channelers. I'll be honest, it was for channelers back then, when I'm not all practitioners. But perhaps for channelers, because I had experience with channelers. I thought it was fascinating. I've been following Abraham Hicks, Cryan, and all the guys, Daryl Anka. So, but I knew that there were so many other talented channelers that couldn't pay the bills. And I'm like, the information is just as incredible. This is people need to know this. People need to learn about who they are. It's so important. It will fix everything in a way, right? So, and then the colors came to me. The word Orykl came to me. It said Orykl. It was spelled, in fact, funny enough, I think about it now, how was it spelled? I don't know how it was spelled. It was the word Orykl. I certainly did not see it spelled Orykl, but I don't know if I didn't not see it, you know what I mean? But I don't remember seeing it, but maybe I did see it. I don't know, but I remember it was Orykl. The circle that's on the homepage, that circle was exactly like that and flew towards me. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, I was already sort of channeling, because for a period, I actually did it for myself. I don't do it so much anymore, but I was just like eyes closed, hands typing very fast about this whole, almost like a business plan, making lots of mistakes, typing very, very fast. And then, I was like, well, went to sleep, woke up in the morning. I was like, oh my gosh, last night, and I got all this. I'm like, yeah, this is it. I Googled Orykl because I didn't really know what the word, I thought I knew what the word meant, and I kind of got it, but now I know more what the word means. And I was like, it's perfect, and there's many variations of what it means, by the way, but I had originally, anyway, and then I struggled with the name Orykl, and I had because obviously Orykl is Orykl Corporation. They're huge, right? And they own basically the entire internet. So to compete with them on SEO, you don't want to have Orykl because you're going to pay per click a lot of money, because they have 5 pages of Orykl. So to be on the first page would be very expensive. And I just kept meeting people. I met a guy from the US and he said, listen, misspell it or spell it somewhere else. And then, I had to look for URLs anyway, I'm happy. I'm super happy with it now. I think it's super original. Obviously, it's Orykl, spelled another way. And I love it. And, it's a short URL. And also it works for all the spiritual practices that we have. And what Orykl is that, it's a platform for spiritual practitioners to really run their businesses on, because obviously we're a marketplace. We have the practitioner on the one side and the client on the other side, but our ultimate customer is actually the practitioner. We want to service the practitioner. We want to help them run their business super easily, so they just have to do the bare minimum. And of course, there's always going to be more stuff to do. We can all market ourselves in a million and one ways, but the idea is that it's easy, it works, they love it, it solves all their problems. Then the clients get better service because they're getting the recording, they're getting a transcript, they're getting the reminder, they're getting the video done properly, and then of course, super important is vetting people, because I'm not doing that. Of course, I'm doing as a business because I want money, everybody wants money, I have a life, you know what I mean? But I'm doing this to help people. Right? So I have no interest in having bad people on my platform. I don't. It doesn't serve me. It just actually really hinders me. It stops the good people from joining me because the bad people are on it. You know what I mean? I'm using very generic words. And I say that also being mindful that, not everybody's for everybody. I might have approved somebody that I think is, my line is, can they deliver on what they promise? Are they, is this helpful? I might not like them as a personality-wise. They might be not like them, but they might be not my style. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not my style. But I'm not everybody's style. And I'm trying to service the world. I'm not trying to service me. I'm trying to service that style and that style and that. So we will have many different styles, but the common denominator is that people on the platform are skilled people. They're good at what they do. When I interview them, I look more for purpose. Is this their purpose? Is it, why are they doing it? That's because there's a vetting process to join Orykl. And I'll quickly say, first we look at all the online presence, especially videos. So I checked your videos before I met you, right? And you get a quick sense, and also the more you do it, you get a more and more quick sense. Things that I said, the way, there's a whole bunch of things that you just eventually, you don't have to spend half an hour even listening. But anyway, spend some time. Then we have an interview, and that interview is just, it's like I say, it's for me to get to know you, you to get to know me, and for me to suss you out, to go is this person aligned? That's the question. Is this person aligned? And it's also if you go into the gym, you want a guy that looks good. If you go to a place like this, you want somebody who's essentially happy. You want somebody we don't have to be perfect, but we know somebody who people on Orykl understand who they are. They know who they are. So they don't take life so seriously. That's one part. They have more fun. They're generally good. There's different styles again, but generally these are not depressed, sad, fearful people. You know what I mean? They're in a good path. So anyway, I checked that out. And obviously just, feel for the person in general. And then they do a session with somebody from our vetting team, and there's a feedback form that they fill out. And again, we're looking for effectiveness, and we're looking for, skill, effectiveness, knowledge, empathy, all of those things we assess, because that also makes, the practitioner. And then if that's all good, then we welcome them onto the platform. And then really we try and create a community that helps each other out. And this is what I'm also incredibly passionate about. And I must say, it is kind of like a hard wheel to start turning because people are not used to it. And that is really working in community, really helping each other out, really going, okay, I am going to put my grain of sand and everybody's going to do the same and we're all going to rise together.
Thank you so much, Huenu. Honestly, I love the fact that you channeled the words, the title that he came to you, because I totally believe in receiving wisdom, receiving messages from beyond. And this is not something that is often easy for us to do. I remember that I channeled my first book, Daily Soul Bytes. It was something that, I come from a family of writers, and everybody had written. My mom had written 3 books, my brothers had written, and everybody kept saying to me for years, when will you write? So Daily Soul Bytes was written in 2020, and it was channeled. And I know that because it was too easy. I'd been trying it for years, but it was really my first taste of becoming a channel, because channeling can come in so many forms. You can come in automatic writing, and it can come when we're dancing, when we're doing something we love. So I love that, Orykl, that wisdom, that idea came from a channeled place, which is why it's growing, which is why there is, you are being guided. And I love being part of the community and the help that you give. And it's really the opportunities that are there for those who are ready to do different things, to shine. And I would want to say, because I know that I have a business background, even though I first started as a medical student and then went into other things. I have an MBA, and that business part of me is something that I have had to learn to integrate with that spiritual passion, the gifts that I have. It has to be learned. I do not know what the conditioning is that is systemic, that creates that gap between having that talent, that passion, and then somehow feeling at odds with wanting to promote yourself, wanting to really reach out and sell yourself. It may be something around worth, but there are many of us who have a reasonable degree of self-worth, but still have some difficulty coming down to the nitty-gritty of selling the business and becoming much more aware of what we're marketing, of the niche we're serving. This is crucial for business. And I love the way you promote the need for that at Orykl, and how you also provide an easier way for people to identify different aspects of their work. So thank you for that. How do you work in terms of your decision making? Do you tend to do it in a logical way, or do you tend to channel it like you did with the name Orykl, or do you tend to do both? How do you, because this is sometimes about how we bring together the masculine and the feminine energies within us, because the masculine is very kind of logical and go-getting, and that feminine side is much more intuitive. So how do you do that when how do you mix those two energies? And because you have done some very powerful projects and succeeded, how has that been for you, the balancing?
Yeah, you're right. There are two sides to making a decision: a heart intuitive, more spontaneous way of doing it, or a more deliberate, calculating way of doing things. And I do think you need both, but I think in my life, I've been more, like I said before, a head person. So, but really, it's an interesting question, because I hadn't asked that myself. Looking back, I think I was also very intuitive. I think I was pretty sure of myself, so I didn't doubt myself very much when I made decisions. And, I had a good upbringing. I think my parents also taught me to learn from lessons. I never also beat myself up too much when I made a mistake. And so I think it was a combination of both. But now they just tend to align. First of all, they tend to be the same. So the mind tends to say, yes, this makes sense. And the intuition says, yeah, this also makes sense. I don't have too much conflict. However, I am very blessed, very grateful to have an amazing business partner who does the whole tech side of things. And he is very analytical, very data driven. And with this is a tech business, that is absolutely crucial. I can't be making decisions based on, I feel like this today and I feel like that tomorrow. But so he makes those decisions. He makes the ones that need data he makes them with data and he knows what he's doing, and I trust him fully, and I'm great. He does that. Me, I'm in charge of other things, like, for example, who to accept onto the platform, or who to partner with, who to do business with. And that's not a black and white decision. You can't put data. You can't say, well, the good points of this person are 1 to 10 and the bad points of this person are 1 to 10. But it doesn't work that way. That's a more intuitive decision. And also, it's about seeing opportunities. So I'm more the creative, and and I just work, I suppose, a bit more by intuition, but I wouldn't even call it intuition. It would just be like good business practice at the same time for me, because sometimes, look, I have been in business for a long time. So I've had my first business I had at 24, I think. So, and I'm 48. Ooh. So it's been a long time, and I've had my own business. So that's like 24 years, right? So it just comes naturally, right, to say yes, no. But I am also still learning. Oh my gosh, I am learning so much, and I have not learned as much as I've been learning the last 2 years, I think, in my entire life. Because this business is completely different to my previous businesses, which were more brick and mortar kind of businesses. Those are just easier to decide, to figure out. So this one, at least for me anyway, because I was in a new space, tech, no, nothing. I mean, I'm good with computers, but I don't know development or anything like that. I mean, my business partner is a genius, thank God. Like, I think he's genius level. And him and I get along very well, but he does his thing and I do my thing, and we just trust each other. So I'm very lucky in that sense. But I would say that if you had to go with one or the other, I think intuition and that gut feel it just never is wrong, to be honest with you. That's the problem, so like, look at it that way. Is it wrong? No, it doesn't tend to be wrong. So there we go. And I guess, it doesn't mean like jump in the pool and like do something insane, but just don't do what you shouldn't be doing. That's more important, because people know, I knew I shouldn't have done it. Well, then don't do it. And then do something that, yes, your gut's saying yes, and your mind also is going, oh my gosh, yes. Okay, cool. Then go for it.
I love that. It sounds like a knowing, when you say a gut, because, we have this intuition that comes to us in different senses. Sometimes we see the messages, or we hear them, or sometimes we sense them, or we know. There's a gut feeling.
No.
And, it's certain. And, and I think knowing what it is does help us, because I know that, my book, Daily Soul Bytes, was something that I saw the book, I saw the cover, I saw the words were coming to me. I was hearing the words, and I had a knowing that I was writing what I was hearing. There was a sense of, this is it. I'm done. Very little editing, and that knowing what sense we have, and some of us have a combination of it. Knowing the intuition gift that we have helps us to expand it, I believe. And this is what I do with my clients in my 8-week program, Quantum Reiki Soul Psych Awakening, which really allows my clients to go through a deeper self-awareness of different aspects of self. And those selves will have different strengths. They'll have different limitations. And it's about coming to a place of awareness, of integration, of unconditionally loving acceptance of all the different parts, and really coming to that place where we're allowing those ego parts to feel safe, to feel seen, and they can then surrender. Because surrender is key if we're going to go beyond the self. There is a part of us that is beyond this physical ego self. And I believe that those physical ego parts, we all have so many of them. And it's not about them going away. It's what we need to get on with our day to day. But knowing that there is life beyond this planet, life beyond even the physical ego self, is very key. Which takes me to my next question for you, Huenu, which is, I know you believe in life beyond life. What is your understanding of it? You've gone through, I know there were some parts of things that you've studied. You've studied hybrids. You have also talked in different platforms, talking about astrology. What is your understanding of life beyond this physical ego plane?
Yeah, so I love the question and I love the topic. And I will say that because we are discussing this from this understanding of physical reality, a lot of the concepts are very difficult to understand if we remain solely in this time-space reality. So you have to, first of all, open yourself up to understanding in other ways, like with, your heart and you're just, it's almost like drink the wine before you listen, because it's a lot of these concepts are a little bit difficult to understand, but the way I can explain it with words that always minimize things, because I've had also a lot of personal experiences of feeling and understanding what this is that I can't vocalize. But in a sense, everything is vibration, right? Everything is vibration within the entire universe. And what we see and experience here is a certain range of vibration, which is physical reality. And so we are living and we're having this experience here. But the question is, what comes first, physical reality or consciousness? So if you say that consciousness comes first and physical reality is a product of consciousness, so consciousness makes physical reality, as physical reality disappears or dies or is no more, consciousness remains, but physical reality doesn't, okay? Now, if it's the other way around, which is what science really promotes, that physical reality exists first and then consciousness comes from that, then of course when there's no more physical reality, there's nothing, right? So there's nothing, because consciousness is within physical reality. But anybody listening to this, I mean, really, what do you think comes first? I mean, you can think about it for a minute, but to me, it's I don't know. I'm pretty sure, I know to you too, but I'm pretty sure for most people, 99% of people, they will say consciousness comes first. There's consciousness. It's just how do you know? Well, you just know. Don't you know? I don't know. It's for me, I know. And so if that comes first and physical reality is a byproduct of it, it just means we're not physical anymore. That's it. Just we go. So explain. You could explain it that we raise our vibration, right? So this is physical reality. We were here, and then we raise it. So now we're not in physical reality anymore. And by the way, I heard this, and I think it makes sense to me that ghosts, you sometimes see them because they're quasi-physical, because they're sitting they want to stay physical, and they so that's why. And I've never seen a ghost. Or anything, but I mean, it would make sense that people that see ghosts or they're almost physical, and also aliens or extra dimensional beings, they can densify themselves to become physical, and then they can go up. That's why they can appear somewhere else, and they come in, into physical reality. They come in and they disappear. So they're just elevating their vibration. They're just just not physical, right? And then there's many different levels. So it's your awareness is now here. My awareness is now here, and this is pretty cool. I'm in this, it's, every day more and more I think about this like a video game. It's I'm here, and I just did a podcast about talking about being embodied. Sometimes I'm wow, look at me, I'm inside this body, I'm moving my arms. What's moving my arms, right? Something's moving my arms. I'm breathing. The breath is really, my life, without the breath, and I'm seeing things, and I'm smelling, anyway, I'm having this experience, right? I'm sitting here having this woo experience, and that's it. That's all it is. It's having this experience. Doesn't matter what I do with my life. I'm having this experience, and then I decide what experience I want to have. Oh, I want to do this, right? So the me, the myself, who I am, is just is deciding all along. And then one day I decided, I don't want to be here anymore. I've had enough, and I go, because we all decide when we die. We do. But obviously not the physical person decides, the higher self decides, your spirit self decides, okay, I've had enough. It's you're playing a video game. It's okay, now I'm done. It's like whatever. The lesson I came to learn is learned, or whatever I needed to do is done. I'm out, right? And you're out, and then you're fine. And I've interviewed a lot of people that have had NDEs, and I've read a lot of books on NDE, and they all say the exact same thing. And I wish everybody could have kind of a bit of an NDE experience to know that when we die, we go back to who we really are, which is pure love, unconditional love. It is all possibility. It is God. It's any name you want to give it. It doesn't matter, because it's all the same, which is just one vibration of pure unconditional love. And it's all good. And so if you really believe that, then your daily life, your daily grind, it's more of an adventure than a daily grind. And that's where I'm at. And I'm trying to make my life super fun, because I'm like here to just have fun and experience it and help and do all of these things and live my purpose. But I'm here, I have control of these things, right? And I do, because I can, for example, today I was doing a whole bunch of emails, and I was like, I'm like, I don't actually have to. And I'm like, is the world going to fall down? No, because I can do them tomorrow. Like, I don't have the solution. Don't worry about the emails. You know what I mean? It's like, right now, just go and breathe, just go, and whatever. And my whole day changed. So I do have, and I might go now and do some emails. I'm not saying I'm not going to do the emails. I'm saying is that I felt like I couldn't do anything I had to do all the emails. No, I didn't have to do all the emails. And none of us have to do anything. So we are free, and we can choose what we want to do. And also it's good advice for everybody to relax about life a little bit. And that's why I love what I do with Orykl, because it's like showing people a little bit of that. It's like, it's all good. Yeah. That's how I see it. So when we die, we just we actually ascend in vibration, and we become non-physical, and we understand we understand pretty much everything, even though there's many different layers, and I don't even know, because who knows? I only know what I know. There's so much out there. I only know a tiny bit, but there's a lot, and it's good. And I guess the summary is like, it's all good. There's nothing to worry about. And, just have a good time while you're here.
Thank you so much. Honestly, there is such a fear within a lot of us, in this third density about exploring or even being aware in the first instance, or, allowing a curiosity about consciousness, about spirit self, because consciousness contains everything. And it's interesting that you mentioned experience, because sometimes the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
When I've had an out-of-body experience. This was in 2020. And it was after that I actually wrote Daily Soul Bytes. And, this is where I was just with my brother, and I collapsed on the floor. And I went into this dark place. And I was a light. I was this light. I felt myself pulsating in this dark space, but I felt such ease, such peace within me. And I could hear my brother calling my name. And then I found myself coming back into my body as coming as a force from the top of my head. And I felt the force, the life force, going into my hips, my legs. And even now, as I speak, my body's pulsating. It's a very powerful experience. The proof is in the pudding. Anybody who has that experience will no longer even condone discussions around whether consciousness comes first or whether it's the physical plane. But it's a very interesting question. I write about this in Daily Soul Bytes. It contains 31 nuggets. And there is one of the nuggets about nature. And I talk about how when you look at different things around us, the seas, they have, the waves, there's something making them move on their own. There's no battery in the waves. There's no battery in the clouds. There's no battery in things that we see around us. The leaves, the plants, they grow. That same life force that's in the plant, in the clouds, in the seas, lies within us. We are all consciousness in motion, and we're just doing different things. So this for me is always in the proof of the pudding. There's no going back when you've had that. But it's also important for us to remain open, to remain curious. And we will see for ourselves how consciousness is jumping through different timelines. It's like the way I've come to understand it is that each timeline is like a radio or a TV channel. You have so many TV channels, and just as consciousness is in one channel, it doesn't mean that there are no other channels that are actually in play. So consciousness jumps from one TV channel to another TV channel, and those channels are the physical existences. And it's when consciousness comes into another channel that we have an experience. We as consciousness are having experiences in different TV channels, in different timelines, and those timelines all exist. And we can come to, each time we jump, we're staying present. We're staying present, and we are coming to understand what this particular timeline holds for me. We can let go of the past, we can let go of the future more and more. We can hold the meaning, but we can allow consciousness to have an experience from a place of curiosity with no judgment, a place of unconditional love and acceptance. And it's a journey. Nobody gets to a place where they completely understand what that next channel is going to be like. This, I think, is what you mean when you say, let's have fun. Let's all just begin to let go a little bit and allow ourselves to be led, to be guided by this infinite wisdom, this infinite intelligence that lies in consciousness. And we can let go, and we will be surprised as to how we will come to learn the things that we now need to learn, and unlearn the things that we have learned that no longer serve us in this present time. So I loved your understanding and your explanation and your experience of what consciousness is. For me, this is now my way of life as well, and I enjoy it. And it's not for everybody. I don't think each and every one of us has come to have a spiritual awakening, and that's okay. There's still different themes that we've all come to explore. But Daily Soul Bytes is really about sharing and expanding collective consciousness as well as that individual consciousness. And I know that a lot of us are going through a lot of different things in this 2025. I know that 2026 is just around the corner now, and the world is changing. There's so many things happening. What are your understandings of how the spiritual industry, the spiritual entrepreneur is going to need, what is going to be different in the next, say, 4 or 5 years? And how is Orykl getting prepared or getting us ready? I'm going to be interested in working with you, Huenu, to see where we go with this, collaborating with you. There's nothing like having a collective of like minds who have someone who has a vision for what something should look like. I'd love to know what your vision is. In the next 4 or 5 years, we are all having multiple awakenings at this time. What is your vision, and how do you see Orykl serving this growing community of spiritual entrepreneurs?
Thank you. Well, obviously, on a more practical level, we have AI in our lives, big time. And that, and I'm not somebody who can see the future. I'm not psychic in that sense, really. But of course, takes no genius to know that AI is very much in our lives. And I think that there is a little bit of resistance in the spiritual community, in some people, on embracing that. There's fear around it. In my personal opinion, I think it's a very neutral thing that can be used for so much good. And so we plan on doing that. We already do use a lot of AI, and we plan on using AI fully to its best ability and to our best ability to help us expand and grow. And to help the world. I feel like it's an incredible ally to do that with. And in terms of, spiritual healers. I think that we will all get better at it because we're just coming out of everywhere. Everybody's growing and learning from each other. So I think we're going to get more and more spiritual teachers, healers, all kinds of healers. I think that when, as you were saying, when people start having the experience, then you become a believer, right? It's you can hear all you want and you can agree, but until you have the experience and the proof is in the pudding, you might not be persuaded to. But as more people do this and more people get healed and start having better lives, you affect other people. And so I think we'll have more of it. I think we'll have more and more talent because there's just more of it and there's more people exposed to it. So so there will be a lot of talent and more teaching. And in terms of Orykl, I feel like we are in a very good timeline. I feel like we're very good, well timed, because I can tell you with all sincerity that my mission is to make this company very, very heart-centered and aligned. And that I'm at the helm of it, although I always see it as being in a circle. I always, when I meditate, I envision myself in a circle holding hands, not at the top of anything. And I'm not trying to be humble. It's just like I feel like it is really a community effort. But anyway, because I am the face of it, I have to, and I want to hold myself up to my own standards, right? And so I will not do anything that sacrifices my integrity or that I just don't feel is the right thing to do. I might make mistakes, of course. I might make a mistake and I might do something that not everybody agrees with, but at the time I will think that it's the right thing. And most people tend to agree on what's right and wrong, right? So that's what's kind of like my guiding compass in Orykl. And I think that with Orykl, what human beings haven't really tapped into yet is the power of community, the power of helping each other out. And we have some benefits that are only for Orykl practitioners, that when you join, it's something that we offer you. And that's important for me because I want people to feel like they really matter in this co-creation, because we really, really do. It's exciting for me. It's something that I feel like I could pioneer even and like teach other companies how to do this in the future. Don't force anybody to do something they don't want to do. Instead, figure out passions, purpose, see how you can leverage those. And it sounds too good to be true, but it can be done. You and I are going to talk soon about possibly doing something together. But I promise you, when we talk, I'll be like, what do you enjoy doing? What do you love doing? What do you already do? What are you good at? Like, there's nothing else I would want you to do. And then you help me, I help you. So I think that it's very exciting where this could go. And I have had some visions where I'm like, wow, like a bit scared of, and I think I'm only holding myself back. Nelson Mandela said, our greatest fear is our power. And I think that's true. We hold ourselves back. So I don't know, it's like, it's my own personal little challenge. How much, do I allow myself to like explode? And I think I'm going to get there. I just don't know how long, you know what I mean? It's like, poof, I just don't know. But it's also, I'm really enjoying the journey as well. And the learning and the people I'm meeting. And I see myself developing personally, and I'm enjoying that without putting pressure on myself, or also trying to come across as like a know-it-all or like I've got it figured out, because I'm very much not so, I still have all kinds of problems, I guess. And, but in general, I would say that my life's just getting better. And yeah, I just think there's I will go as far as I will allow myself to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Huenu. Honestly, I love your energy. Really, really passionate, really, really exciting. When Peter Dennis from Channeled Connections recommended you, I said to myself, I'll check it out. And I went on YouTube, I went on your website, the colors, the professionalism, the way you put things together, the words on the site, they touched me. And I think it's coming from that energy, that very vibrant, those channels you're getting, those downloads you're getting, there's something that's going on there. So may it continue, long may it continue. And I do look forward to, to our collaborations. And I did want to just end with asking you to tell us, 2026, is round the corner now in another 5, probably another 6 days or so. What would you say your last words? Not your last words in this lifetime. Your final words in this show. It's funny. Your final words, in this episode. Maybe something around how you ground yourself every day, the kind of practices that you have. Because these are some of the things that would sometimes remind us. We are all beings of infinite wisdom, but sometimes we're disconnected and we just need some reminders here and there. So what would you say, some of the things that you do that someone who's listening to this may resonate with for the coming year and beyond?
Yes. So I would say that a good idea for 2026 is something that has changed my life and that I still do every day. And, I'm really giving this advice because I know how powerful it is or has been for me. And it's a daily ritual of some kind where you go inwards. Now, the floor is yours as to what it is that you want to do. That's not the hard part. The hard part is committing to it every day, or at least let's say 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, because I know we have routines during the week and routines on the weekends. So maybe, if you've got kids during the weekend, it's not so easy, but find something that you can commit to doing every day that has some element of going inward. I discovered swimming a year ago. I never swam before. I mean, I could swim well, I suppose. And I now swim ridiculous amounts, because when I get into the pool, I just go inwards. I listen to the water. I go blah, 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 blah. And I look at the lights. It's like turquoise. It's beautiful, actually. I feel the water. It's actually very sensual to swim. And I'm in that moment and I go inward. And this is where everything comes from. When I go in, you name it, creativity, solutions. Okay, da, da, da. It has changed my life. I was already on a good path, but because I found this and I committed, now it is hard to commit. I get that it's hard, but I promise once you start seeing the results, you'll want to do more and more of it because you're in a good space, in a space of like creativity. Imagine if you're in a place where you're creative, where you feel loving, where you're connected, where you're like sure of yourself, where you're like learning, where you're like discovering. Wouldn't you want to be there every day? And this happens. And you need to commit though, because another thing that I kind of stand for is like, let's not, read another book. Like you've read all the books that you can read. You've seen all of it. Now you've got to start doing something and you need to commit. And at the beginning, it might be a little bit hard because it's hard to go to the gym every day and swim. It is. But it soon enough becomes not so hard anymore. And then it's like you want it. Then it becomes like life. Now I can tell you that's the best part of my day. To this day, it's like I go swimming, I swim for an hour and a half. I'm like there, I get out of there, I go to the jacuzzi, I meditate for about 15 minutes, but I'm like super connected. Like I love it. I go to the steam room, I stretch, I talk to some lady, we share stories. Get changed in my hair, go, it's there, 11 o'clock, I'm done. But guess what? I focus on the 3 main things that I got to do that day. And I'm like, okay, cool, this is what I'm doing. Because I've had that time, I'm efficient, I say the right thing. I mean, look, I don't want to come across as like life's perfect. Because please, every time I hear myself say these things, I'm like, sounds like she's got the perfect life. It's not that, but it's it's good because I do this, because I do this. And people go like, oh, I don't have 2.5 hours in the morning to do it. I'm like, we can do it any time of the day. It doesn't have to be 2.5 hours. I've increased it to 2.5 because I realized I save so much time. I save so much time. Instead of going through my emails and going, oh my God, all of these emails, I'm like, oh, I don't even have to do that. I'm just going to send that email to that guy. I'm going to pass this to this. That will be completely avoided. Okay. And then lots of things, I'm in the flow a lot more, like amazing relationship with my partner. I mean, crazy, right? So, and it all starts with like a daily commitment. So meditation, walk in nature, anything in nature, anything, name it, ocean, trees, rivers, love, anything in nature that's like, I would say number one, because it's much easier to get into that space than in your house with, a lot of stuff around you. So do yourself a favor. I mean, everybody can go to a park. Most of us can go to a park somewhere. And a commitment it also helps if it's the same time of the day. It's just easier if it's the same time of the day, and if you have people that support you and all of those things, but now that we're starting a new year, that will be my challenge to anyone and everyone listening. Just do it. And you know what? Break it up into a monthly thing. Just do it for January and make it small. Make it 5 minutes. Actually, that's probably the best idea. Just 5 minutes on the clock every single day in January. In Feb, you will know what to do. You will know whether you want to increase it to 10, whether you want to shift it, so you only got to commit for 30 days, 5 minutes at a minimum. And this could be the beginning of something huge for you. So that's my advice.
Wonderful challenge. Thank you so much for joining me today, Huenu.
Such a pleasure, Bola, really. And thank you for being on Orykl.
Thank you for having me. And I do want to thank our audience for joining us today and to ask you to connect with Orykl, to connect with Huenu, to take on our challenge and to ask for help if this is something that you're finding you're curious about and you do want to learn more about. My Quantum Reiki Soul Cycle Awakening program is really about that, about stillness, about cultivating that stillness, that sense of connection with the divine. First, we have to quieten the mind, and that is just about practice. It's about knowing the steps, being guided through, because this is the 60 to 90,000 thoughts going through our heads every day, every single day. And it's about how do we quieten that noise, and then how do we transcend it to a place of stillness. This is the creativity that Huenu is talking about. This is where infinite wisdom comes to us, and we can actually live a life of that 20-80. We get 80% from doing 20%. This is the flow that we can come to have. The universe collaborates with us, joins hands with us. We're having to do less to get more. So I do want to encourage you to take Huenu's challenge and to connect with Orykl and to connect with Daily Soul Bytes. We know we broadcast episodes every week, every Wednesday, connecting with a lot of different magnificent guests like Huenu. So I look forward to seeing you on the very next episode of the Daily Soul Bytes Show. Bye-bye.